Hello, good morning, traders. It is 7:30 a.m. Pacific on a Good Friday. Hope you guys are having a good holiday and have plans for the long weekend ahead. I wanted to take the opportunity, obviously, to step away from trading live market action and review some of the trades that I took last week. Um, I would probably focus mostly on maybe Thursday and potentially Wednesday, I imagine. I don't think I'll be able to go further back. We can see if there was an interesting trade for us to review. But as you guys know, I always start not with the price chart, but always with internals. In fact, I should probably say that I always start with my 60-minute or my 30-minute chart, which I will not discuss here too much. I have in depth conversations on how to determine where value aggregations are taking place on a 60-minute chart, pockets of value, and how I think about price moving from obviously, one pocket of value to the other. So, generally speaking, the swing trades that I do take on my personal accounts and sometimes on my personal micro accounts as well, I will take transition type trades where price moves from one area of value rejection to test another value edge potentially for acceptance in the new area, right? And those are usually nicer, longer term, require less supervision type of trades. Okay, so that's normally where I begin my week, and sometimes if I have time, if I wake up early enough, how I begin my day. Now, for the most part, you guys already know how the day prep looks like. We determine our key levels for what we expect the market action to bring us to test different areas. So if you look at just this one on the screen, this is yesterday Thursday action. Obviously, it was the 4,000 bust out action, right? We achieved a new milestone in the S&P 500, which doesn't mean too much to me. It doesn't matter. Numbers are just immaterial at this point, right? It is mostly collective value being brought in by the underlying 500 companies and their earning potential for in the future discounted to current futures prices. That's really all these numbers mean. It doesn't matter. But yes, they are important and they do form support levels and resistance levels as price meanders about them, tests them, consolidates above or below them, and what have you. So those numbers are, of course, important. But having posted the key levels, we had identified where our prior settle was yesterday. It was 64, 3964 something. And we had obviously assessed what the overnight bias looked like. So the blue strip over here determines just the overnight action, and the colored strips are day action, other than blue color, that is. So the overnight obviously was significantly bullish. It was essentially testing the RTH high for the most part, right? The RTH high was obviously here, 63 something. Having tested the RTH high, the overnight settled, consolidated above the prior value edge. This is the kind of significance I attach to value area analysis. My indicator obviously here extends the prior developing value area high to a makes a sawtooth line out of it and kind of shows you the significance of those levels, right? Now, of course, before going and testing RTH high, the overnight action had to obviously go ahead and somewhat make a token test, if you will, of the prior settle, which was 64. There was significant, obviously, space between the test and the level itself, which obviously indicated bullish nature. So for a swing trader who's up in Globex, for my friends in Australia, and there's a few actually who are already subscribers of the channel, you guys all already kind of get a sense of what's coming once you start to see this kind of behavior right here. So you leave some ether between the level and the price, and then you have a confirmation on a developing value area low. You don't need more confirmation. If I were not asleep, I would probably go 5 contracts in here on a micro for my personal and go to sleep, putting a stop, of course, above here, below here. I mean, that's one way to think about price, because the narrative that has developed here, is Well, this area between 63 and 77 forms 70% of the volume distribution for the day, for the RTH period. And then, of course, Globex is testing the edges, but it is not able to break through somewhat of a confluence between prior close and where the value area low was for RTH. And there's just the powers of higher. And most importantly, it opens high of range right at the 30-minute mark here at Wall Street Open. It opens with significant force and strength, right? So that already tells us that pre-market must have been overheated, right? SPD must have been pretty high for an open, so 230 whatever it was for an open. So it needs to obviously breathe a little bit, which is exactly what happened. And there were some traders who I was doing one-on-ones with yesterday who started shorting over here. You know, they drew trend lines using 3 bars, which is literally 9 minutes on our 3-minute SPD chart, and they got kept getting stopped out. You know, because they missed the context of the market. They missed the story. The story is not short me all day long. The story is I if the price were a human being and could speak in plain English, price would be saying, "I'm looking to go try 4,000, and I would not like to waste my overnight and uh, Wednesday trading bullish bias. I would not like to waste that. I would like to use all of that energy and the money that was spent by the big boys to continue to power higher." So if Price were a human being, Price would be talking to you and would be telling you its story, right? But you as a trader, rather as a beginner trader or maybe an enthusiastic advanced trader, doesn't matter, you're just trying to follow my process. Well, I thank you for that, of course, but you're trying to follow the process, but you're following it too literally without context. You think that this is God, or maybe the ADD is God, or maybe the tick is God. No, nothing is God, right? You just need to like understand, has this overheated? If it has overheated, it will breathe. When it breathes and rests, does the price breathe and rest as well with it? If it does, then it starts to null and void the bull case, right? But price doesn't. In fact, price prints a climax pressure bar right here, the magenta bar. Not only does it a range is it a range extension bar in terms of the pressure of the volume coming in and corresponding with the range of the bar, it is also a high density bar, meaning the volume also had spiked. So a combination bar like that is you cannot get a bigger trigger towards one direction. Now that doesn't mean price will just keep flying because for every for every yay there is a nay, right? For every yes there is a no, and a little bit of that struggle needs to play out, which is just perfect for traders like us because we will sit on our hands when we see no extension past this edge, past 92, our magic number. We know that there needs to be some settling of differences, if you will. And once the settling of differences completes, we can jump into our trades and hold and quote let it ride end quote, like some Facebook posters like to say, till the end of time, which would have worked on this particular day and would have probably crashed and burned some other day. Or we could just follow our internals and just look to see where the internals start to get weak, exit and re-enter. Doesn't matter, right? I'm a momentum trader. My processes are high momentum trade processes, right? So you can enter with 3 contracts here, 4 contracts here. That's the kind of trading I will normally do. You will see me taking 2 contracts in the ES and sometimes taking 1 or 2 in the NQ when it correlates with the momentum in the ES. That speaks volumes for how much I trust my process. Um, Rather than letting it ride till eternity and not knowing what will happen in the future, because I am not a predictor. I would rather trade the momentum with as much gut that I have anyway. So that's that's how I would was kind of thinking about yesterday's open. And I did take a short here. I kind of missed this move. I don't know if it was yesterday or Wednesday, but whatever. I had some more internet connectivity issues actually, which I hopefully should resolve now. It was my Ethernet Cat5 switch that I had to replace anyway. So I missed this move. This was a great conference move. SPD had finished breathing. Actually, I'm sorry. This is just the open. So no, I didn't miss this. This is the one I'm talking about. So I took that actually. Yes, the SPD confluence right over here. The 7 o'clock and the 7:03 bar, which was, I've rested enough. I'm ready to take off move from this guy. The ADD, combined with the SPD, I was just like trying a different setup. I put the volume, wall NDD, wall SPD chart on a separate one, on the separate, layout, and also the trend on a separate layout. I was just trying to see, because everything is just bullish. It's hard to just look at the arms index and the wall NDD when the market's just going for the sky. I need to see a little bit more correlation with the rest of the market just to catch up, to determine that the dip is a catchable, is a tradable long side dip, right? Anyway, so it's just an advanced technique I use sometimes to determine whether, because there were people who were shorting this wick. I know I had a one-on-one with with a trader yesterday, and I've known him for a while now, obviously. One of the early adopters of my channel and my process. I thank him. He actually took a shot right here. His shot was right here. I'll show you. I mean, to the lay person, it seems like a great idea to short the breaking of the 20 period moving average on a 3-minute chart and attack maybe either the developing value area low, which would have been far below, unfortunately, but at least the IB low, or at the very least the Depop, right? So have something going. So let's say 94 to 88. Okay, fine, 5 to 6 points. Idea is correct on the surface, but of course, the narrative of the market is completely different. You're not listening. If you're taking this shot and hoping for this, you're not listening to if this were a human being, you were not listening to this person's story, right? Their story is something else, right? They want to go somewhere else, and you're taking them, putting them in a train that's headed to the opposite station. That's not what they want. Now, of course, what does this mean? Just look at the time of this. It's the 57 minute, right? Look what happened 57 minutes. What minute is this actually? 7:57 right here. Somewhere over here, hopefully. Look at the 7:57 bar right here. So SPD is just breathing. It's a doji or whatever this is called, man. Whatever. This is like an indecision bar, but it is still trying to close with a higher low, right? With a higher low. What happens to the NDD? NDD can't bust out this general consolidation level either. Wall NDD was actually okay. It's in the other chart now, but what I'm trying to tell you is look at tick. Tick has rejected the minus 500 level, the minus 400 level, and it has squeezed up from the minus levels to enter the plus 200 level, the trigger level for me. Now, that becomes for me a very simple buy. I have consolidation in my SPD, ADSPD, and I have tick wicking out this area, right? This becomes a very important marker. Now, of course, you need to go back into the price and take a look at what has the price tried to do. Well, the price has, first of all, wicked the monthly pivot. It has wicked this prior high. Okay, it has wicked this HVN edge, so the HVE here, mini HVE, all kinds of markers telling you that this consolidation has not broken. An upward consolidation will take more than just one bar to break. Okay, it will take a little bit of straggling in this level, a failed breakout downside, a failed breakout upside before everybody can agree that they need to uh, vote the person out of the house, right? Like the bull, vote the bull out of the house and go bear. Anyway, so but that's not what this little bar looks like. It's a nothing perfect catch me right now before I leave kind of an opportunity. This is actually a buy here, but that's okay if you cannot fire here at at or near the prior bust area. Well, you catch here then. This also corresponds to somewhat of a developing edge, but of course it's risky. Your stop's quite far. But if you do catch it, then you do have a play at least for our initial PBT target, right? Our projected balance target, which was 4,000. So it kind of completes really quick in 3 minutes, 9 minutes, I mean. But but that's okay if you didn't. But the thing to not do is to try and short this. If you're shorting this, then you're chasing price, right? Value is being sought above, and you're going against what the price is. Price is trying to chase value here. It's trying to discover value, sure. Those trades do work. We have to trade where the chart is, right? We cannot trade what's in our head. If in our head the value is here, we cannot assume that the price is going there. We can't. We have to read. And once we read it, of course, we understand that this is a wick out. Anyway, now all the eager hands probably lost a ton of money here, right? Going long, then thinking no, it's a short, then maybe going long here, catching a good trade and thinking, oh my goodness, this is a great wick, I must buy again. No, you don't do that. You have to look at what's happening here. Anyone trying to take this long right here on this wick out would have been 809. So it would be about here, 806, 809 would be fighting this bar right here. So anyone trying to go long is fighting this consolidation. So let the consolidation happen. This line is automatically drawn based on lows and connects, yeah, intra-session. We want this kind of a signal to come. Okay, we want the high to be broken. Look at the price. If the price gives us an opportunity, 830, fine, go buy it. 830 right here. Where is 830? Here. You can't buy at a consolidation at the IB low either, IB high either. So maybe this is not one, right? So you don't buy here 830. But then you get this, and then you get this big bar that takes out 1 2 and nearly takes out the prior high. Well, 2 bars take out the prior. This becomes a very clear signal to you. Okay, and you just check that with the overall market as well. Yes, the overall market is not trying to fool the SP 500 or vice versa. They're all in unison. They want to do something today. All of them, they want to do something today, and that's the narrative. So you have to follow that narrative. So this becomes 854 becomes a very significant time to invest money. Okay, on one side. So this is the place to start to think of going long immediately, but we can't go long here. Maybe we may, but I'm afraid of wicks. So then we go here, something like that. We see this rejection of this trial, but then we see a rejection on the downside, and this is where we have to go long, somewhere in this bar, 8903. And let's look at tick to just make sure that our calculations are correct. Yes, so tick at the 9 o'clock is definitely rejecting the lower levels, and the low of the next bar is also above our trigger level. Our trigger level is 200 in this particular point in time, and I'll discuss what that means also. So this is about the place where you go long, I think. And of course, it's not a perfect science, guys. There is some art to it, and there is some scratch to it as well. So if I go long here, I will scratch. As soon as I don't see this high being taken out, I'm scratching for break even because I want the high to be taken out, guys. It's very simple. So if I go long here with this green bar and it closes here, and if I go long here and I find that it tries and immediately falls, I'm not gonna stay to get stopped out here. I'll just re-enter. I'll re-enter next time. Don't worry. I'll pay some commission, big deal. But I'm not gonna. Oh my goodness, I needed to go here, so I must stay in this trade. Otherwise, my feelings will be hurt. And then you get freaking stopped out somewhere here because the price continues to go lower, and you keep lowering your stop because feelings, right? Feelings. Yeah, the feeling stuff is not gonna help. We need to cut that out. So therefore, if I take here, then I must get stopped here as well. Anyway, I did take this shot because I immediately started to, this wick kind of pointed me to, and this behavior here pointed me to a fade. It indicated a fade for me back to Deepak, but I completely missed the fact that my tiny hash line here, developing point of control, had already shifted up. So while I was looking to do a Deepak activation fade all the way back over here, or at least test the 92, by the time I realized that Deepak had lifted up, I was like, oh, okay. So I had to get out. But I still got out with something, nothing, no big deal. So anyway, those are the two kind of up and down trades. This was a great move. I caught it. This was not a very good one. And then, of course, back up over here around 12 o'clock. What happened at 12 o'clock? Let me just discuss this final trade. I think we already have 20 minutes into the video, so I'll probably want to stop now. Haven't had my breakfast yet. So I did go long at this test. I believe it was this test, 1209. And I'm not exactly proud of this trade. I was really hoping for uh, you know, this little squeeze, wick, and power move, which came later, but I completely forgot that my 100 period SMA was really important to be looked at. Now, this is not something that I normally put on my charts because the thing doesn't trend that much. past couple of weeks, months, I mean, we've had a significant downside movement. So I've taken away some of the older indicators like the 100 SMA, which I'm now trying to slowly bring back just to help me gauge. Because when the market just trends in one direction, I need more than just internals and more than just price and value discussions, because it becomes a technical matter. Folks who have missed these moves, folks with a lot of money in their pockets, right? The big institutions, they will come and hide behind these 100 SMRs. That's just how it works, guys. Okay. And when the SMRs correspond with edges, that confluence is powerful and again becomes a great swing trading opportunity for many folks. So, anyway, whatever. So, I was kind of hoping that this edge had already been rejected so the SMR would not be visited again, but of course I was wrong. And I did go long over here, and why did I do that? 1209. So where is 1209? Hopefully I didn't make a huge mistake here. Okay, so I probably did this. I'll show you what I did. So I had connected all these highs, right? And this 1203 bar just started to weigh on me. Um, I was, yeah, what did I compare this 1203 with? I should have waited for busting out here. I did not wait for this. Goes to show you guys that we are all works in progress, all of us, okay? So 1203, yeah, consolidation not clear here in the DD, but the SPD was like, okay, I'm trying something. 1203, it must have been tick that made me go. Yeah, okay. So 1203, tick rejects my lower zone, tick powers above 200, and I go like, okay, need to go. So I probably forced myself to just go here. And of course, that didn't pan out because tick just busted my chops, didn't it? Yep, it did this 1209, and then it started to go below zero and the 1212 bar, and that scared me immediately. I got out. So didn't make much. No big deal, but didn't lose. More importantly, I was following, right? I was not married to the idea. Yeah, I don't get married to any single idea, okay? Because I must listen. I must listen to the story. Otherwise, there's no point. Otherwise, I'm being selfish and greedy and chasing PNL, whereas I need to actually listen to what this individual, this instrument is trying to tell me. Okay. Okay. So yes, it came under tested the traveling support, which is the 100 SMA, and I don't know what the heck I was doing. Okay, maybe it was 1242 45, and my MOC imbalance rule came into play that I will not trade if I am not 100% sure. So that's okay. I don't care for these moves. I fade them the next week or the day after anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. Nothing is ever completely gone in the futures market. Something goes up, you fade it. Something falls, you buy the dip, whatever. Okay, anyway, guys, so that was I couldn't even go to Wednesday. I think. Let me see if there was anything interesting quickly. I've already ran 20 minutes into this. I'm feeling hungry now. But maybe I deleted everything, my markers from Wednesday. Yeah. So, but for Wednesday, again, significant up moves initially, and just hugging the 20 SMA on the 3-minute chart. Nothing much can be said here. The idea always was going to be, and I think I had a discussion with one of the students actually on this one. They took a great trade actually. They just sized this consolidation area up, and this max pressure bar was their trigger to start to fire on the IB high. Beautiful, beautiful narrative of that trader. Much similar to mine. I would have tried to buy here before the blue bar even prints because of the confluence with the SPD and the fact that we already had a 1, 2, 3. We had a rejection of the developing point of control, an activation already. An activation becomes more important after a failure to take out a prior wick, right? So failure to take out prior wick, rests, like I said, man, everything needs to breathe, breathes, rests on depok, and then immediately starts to power up with significant volume, and that becomes a trigger. And that person traded here to here, here to then infinity, and that was great. I really enjoyed that session, that one-on-one session with my student. Anyway, guys, so I'm going to stop here. I'm really hungry. It's 7:56. The video has gone on for 24 minutes. Hopefully, this helps you guys. It's obviously a little taste of what we do in the one-on-ones, but much deeper, of course, where I actually tell you how to establish tick triggers, tick ranges change during the course of the session. I change where these levels are. You can see it's minus 250 to minus 100 and 200 to 500 is skewed to the upside for a specific reason. I change how I kind of read this in, how I read the wall and DD. All of those things, good stuff, is in the one-on-ones as well. But I'm trying to also make some videos just to cover action in the week and to continue to, like, elaborate on my processes, because I do want all of you to succeed, whether or not you pay me for the one-on-ones. It doesn't matter. We are all partners here in this channel, and I would really want all of you to succeed. That's at least what I'm striving to do week in, week out, guys. So anyway, hopefully you guys like the video. um, uh, have a long, comfortable weekend. I'll see you guys next week, and thank you as always, guys. Bye.